Well, I think there's a lot of things that exist on it. Trying to re-engineer it is where the part I don't even. I just feel that if you don't, it's just the technology. We wouldn't understand it. We wouldn't have the capability of some of it we could. Parts of it I don't think we could, because we don't have the intelligent level yet to even comprehend how it would work, how to reproduce it. Like I said, go back to 1920, go back to 1950, hand somebody a cell phone, hand them a transistor radio. They couldn't reinverse. They couldn't. It wouldn't happen. They would take it all apart, and they would spend years trying to, duplicate it.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but the likes of David Adair, and for that matter, Nikola Tesla, said that they got inspiration through dreams, through angels, or such kinds of beings, that, yes, a person without divine inspiration, so-called, would have no chance of reverse engineering a cell phone. But David Adair said, basically, he downloaded the information overnight. When he woke up during his dreams, he saw the answers to engineering problems. And other people have said the same thing. So what's up with that? And I'm a skeptic. I'm not David Adair. I talked to him. He seemed very sincere, but I wasn't there, right?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't either. But, there was somebody else, I'm not going to mention their name, again, that claimed that back in, Area 51, that his job was to investigate these UFOs and try to duplicate their propulsion system. And all this stuff. Bruce Maccabee has been on my show numerous times, and this guy is very intelligent, and he said the same thing. I just don't think they can no, I just don't buy it.
So then I saw a video on YouTube, I didn't vet it or anything, but it purportedly came from, it was purportedly testimony from an honorably discharged United States airman who was tasked, his very first assignment was to go up to pilot an experimental UFO that had been reverse engineered by the United States government, or contractors to said government. And they said, after he strapped in, basically, just think about what you want the craft to do and it will do that. So he had very little trouble lifting off and ascending to whatever they wanted, 50 feet, however much it was. There were cameras rolling, military cameras, of course, that I'm sure never made public light of day. But they did their measurements, they did their testing, they did their oohing and awing, and then they radioed to the airman, now come down. And he had a brief moment where he thought, I don't know how to come down. And in that brief moment, he lost control of the craft, and it plummeted to earth, breaking both of his legs, hence his honorable discharge after one mission. That's his story, and he's sticking to it.
Yeah, I just wish we could give somebody like that a polygraph test or sodium pentothal, because the thing is...
Well, indeed so.
Yeah, because why would they take an airman and somebody that is not, wasn't a pilot?
He was a pilot. He was a cadet or something, fresh out of pilot school.
Yeah, but I would think they would take one of their top aces or somebody, that had vast
that does
knowledge.
Raise an interesting question.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Gary. I like the catch of your drift.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been doing this a long time, so.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally skeptical. I take nothing at face value.
Yeah.
I work with computers. I know that anything visual, anything on video, can be faked, altered at the pixel level, the pixel being the smallest denomination, smallest amount of real estate on a computer screen, right? So
I've seen so many fake pictures, because one of my other passions, besides doing radio, and I started doing radio when I was 12 years old, when I got a CB, and then I got my amateur license. I've been involved talking on a microphone since I was 12. My other passion, since I was 5 or 6, was photography. And I was one of the very first people in the United States to get Photoshop before it even hit the market as a tester. So I'm very well know what you can manipulate and do. I see so many fake videos, so many fake UFO pictures each week. And so I'll be honest with you, they're really good at doing it. But I mean, if you know what to look for, you spot it instantly.
And they're getting better. They've got it where now you can basically superimpose videos or superimpose somebody's head onto a video where and I'm sure you know more about this than I do, but basically a computer program makes the head react or change depending on what the body movement is doing. So if the torso twists, the head twists to compensate for it and makes the lips appear to talk, that sort of thing. Well, very realistic, getting more so. Didn't they do a movie with that technology?
I'm trying to think of the name of a movie, but they actually went as far. I'm trying to think of the movie. I can't think about it. Just watched it the other day. I was watching how they made the movie. They had a whole sequel on the graphics of it. The guy and the woman, they lengthened his hair. He had short hair. They put long hair on him. Every time he turned his head in the breeze, they've come a long ways with this technology. But luckily, these people who are doing these pranks or trying to get their 3 minutes of fame, and they're posting these pictures of UFOs on, Facebook and other media, I have yet really to find anything I go, oh, that looks real, because I can usually bring up one of those images within a couple minutes and I can, tear it apart. Just like there's a guy in Las Vegas, I'm not mentioning his name, but he's been plastering YouTube and Facebook with UFO pictures of around, Las Vegas. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, well, Las Vegas and other places too. And like I said, anymore today, we really can't say with certainty, unless we were there and saw it firsthand, that something recorded on video or in a still image is valid and verifiable.
Well,
would you agree?
On this case, I did one thing, okay?
In other words, there's room for doubt. There's room for healthy skepticism.
Well, I did a couple things with this particular individual. One, as I called the control tower and talked to the supervisor, which he told me right off the bat, if there was UFOs here a couple times a week flying around the mountains around there, they would be in lockdown. The FAA would shut them down. Planes wouldn't be coming into the international or leaving the airport. He then gave me a name to call over at the local Air Force base. And I talked to the major there, and he said, if there is UFOs flying all around Las Vegas, we would dispatch aircraft to intercept it. We would ground all commercial flights. It made logical sense. Then I started looking at this guy's video. Oh, by the way, the government has been sending out a couple times a month helicopters to check for radiation around the hillsides, the mountains around Las Vegas, because, in the past, in that area, a few miles away, they detonated nuclear bombs. So they go out and they check and see if this radiation is migrating in, towards Las Vegas and other stuff like that. So you have another government agency going out every couple times a month with helicopters checking the hillsides and the mountains for radiation. Now, one of this guy's individual videos he posted up, I distinctly could tell it was a helicopter. No doubt. I mean, I broke the pixels down. I could actually see what I saw. I could see even the dip when the so-called UFO was, hovering. The dip of a helicopter. I've been on a lot of helicopters when I was in the military. I know when they've been hovering and they go out of the hovering mode, they dip. The front end of the helicopter will dip down and then come up. Well, that was there. The other thing is, why would aliens' ships have the same color lights that was required for commercial and military aircraft? That don't make sense either. So you add all those things together, and I can tell you somebody's trying to make money.
Well, that happens all the time, doesn't it? And same with crop circles, which I cover a lot. crop circle faking. But that's why, as a UFO historian, I'm particularly drawn to the older stories. And my book, Unknown Objects, the top 10 U.S. UFO cases, starts in the United States, UFO accounts right after World War II, and ends with the 10th case, 1997, the Phoenix Lights, which a lot of people alive today remember vaguely, but unless you lived in Phoenix and actually were there witnessing it, probably don't even really know what happened, which is fine. You know, nobody can be an expert on everything. But check this out. I found a document today that blew my mind. It just tripped me out because it's written by somebody associated with NASA. And this was published some years ago, and this guy studied accounts in ancient antiquity by famous Greek and Roman historians. So this is way before modern technology. We can't discount these as Photoshop fakes. There were no computers. There was nothing like that. So the historian Josephus, or Josephus, I'm not sure quite how you say that, Josephus, the date 65 years Anno Domini, after the birth of Christ. So year 65. Here's what historian Josephus reports. On the 21st of the month Artemisium, there appeared a miraculous phenomenon, passing belief. Indeed, what I am about to relate would, I imagine, have been deemed a fable, were it not for the narratives of eyewitnesses and the subsequent calamities which deserved to be so signalized. For before sunset, throughout all parts of the country, chariots were seen in the air and armed battalions hurtling through the clouds and encompassing the cities.
Interesting.
So what was this? For one thing, as an historian, anything that gets written down by these cats who lived thousands of years ago, it was important. Now, it doesn't mean it wasn't natural or explainable, but this man, whose name is Richard Strothers, and he published this document, Unidentified Flying Objects in Classical Antiquity. And what he did was review the literature. This is amazing what he did. He looked at the classical literature, the likes of Pliny and Plutarch and Livy, people that we had to study in history and sort of dozed off.
Okay,
but
now
he did a complete survey.
Now, Jean, we need to go for a break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. So, get a cup of tea or something like that. We'll be back with Jean talking about her book and talking about UFOs. So stay tuned.
Thanks, Gary.
I was strung out from the road. I was numb and I was tired from that long haul overload. Across the room I saw a girl with eyes that burned like coal. She taunted me with electric smiles like lightning to my soul. Should've known that she was making witchcraft. Should've known that she would steal my soul. She asked me for a dance, then she cast her temptress spell. Seductive moves and whispers like a siren sent from hell. She told